summer? 2 weeks? 1 week? A long weekend? In America, we may all want more time off from work, but we never seem to be able to take it. But as Lara Logan reported in 2005, there are millions of people who take endless vacations in the summer. A month, 2 months, even more. And we're not talking about the idle rich. These are government employees, blue-collar workers, office clerks. What's their secret? They live in France.
Stéphane Marchand is a senior economics editor at the French newspaper Le Figaro.
In my line of job, I'm a journalist working in a French newspaper. We have 8 weeks of vacation.
8 weeks of
8
vacation?
weeks, yes. I know it may be surprising for you because I know in the US you might have only 2 or 3 if you're lucky, but we have 8.
Like most Frenchmen, Marchand has no guilt about taking so much time off. In fact, it's the law. Full-time workers in France are guaranteed at least 5 weeks vacation. Guaranteed those long lazy days in the sun and leisurely lunches in outdoor cafes. On top of the 5 weeks, there are another dozen public holidays and a maximum 35-hour work week with no paid overtime allowed. Managers like Marchand, who work more than 35 hours a week, get more time off.
The so-called 35-hour week gives us 22 more days a year.
22 more days in addition to the 8 weeks vacation.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is a lot. Which is a lot.
Normally busy streets in Paris empty out in July and August when most locals take their annual holiday. Shops and businesses are often deserted for a month, sometimes longer. Whole apartment buildings are shuttered when Parisians flee the city. The French are so passionate about their vacations, they put pleasure before profit. As foreign tourists roam the streets and summer temperatures hit their peak, Paris's most popular ice cream parlor is, well, closed for a whole 6 weeks. It's the kind of business bonanza that would be seized upon by Americans, but the French don't seem to care.
The big difference is money, the place of money in your life.
Marchand says money isn't the top priority here. Maybe that's because in France, things like healthcare and education are virtually free. But if you think the French have unlocked the door to paradise, don't start packing yet. The 35-hour work week, meant to create new jobs, hardly made a dent in unemployment, which still stands at over 10%. And not everyone is thrilled about working even 35 hours. Corinne Meyer, a part-time employee for the state-owned electricity company, has written a book arguing that the French should work less, or at least less well.
The aim is to keep your job without working. Or to do, it's not to go higher.
Meyer's bestseller, Bonjour Laziness, reveals her secrets on the art of pretending to work. Let me read you the subtitle of your book, The Art and Necessity of Doing the Least Possible in a Corporation. What is the art?
Because you have to be an actor.
So you're performing?
Yes, you're performing.
So did you have any idea when you wrote this book that it was going to be so popular with French people?
Oh, no.
No. Were you completely shocked?
Yes, I'm very surprised.
Meyer, who has a PhD in psychoanalysis, isn't lazy. She's simply disillusioned with the French workplace, which she says values busy work and corporate politics over true productivity. And her book has resonated beyond French borders. The rights have been sold to more than 20 countries, including the United States. And let's not forget that you wrote the book in your spare time because you're only working 20 hours a week.
Yes, it's true.
So you must think Americans are insane.
No, because Americans, I think, believe more in future than French people. We, French people, right now, we don't believe that the future will be better than now. So we don't have any reason to work.
Why?
I don't know, maybe we're an old country, we are depressed.
An old, depressed country?
Yes.
Well, there may be some Americans that agree with that.
Possibly, yes. But the food is very good.
The food is very good.
When we return, there's trouble in vacation paradise.
The French system will not survive long if it's not reformed.
On 60 Minutes on CNBC.
On the next American Greed, preacher's son, salesman, scam artist.
They milk these people out of millions.
New season, new night. American Greed, scams, scoundrels, and suckers. Next on CNBC.
I have low testosterone.
Every car we build must make it.
And online training. Sharpen your... Go to Forex.com and start trading currency.
Anne Fontaine, a successful French blouse company. Zlokin manufactures in France but has high-end boutiques across the globe, from New York to Tokyo. And there's no doubt in his mind which country's workers he prefers.
In America, we don't lose time.
You don't lose time?
We don't lose time. In France, we lose a lot of time with, fixing social troubles. We lose a lot of time with things which are not related to the business we are doing.
So people's personal concerns interfere with the work?
Yeah, with the laws, with the working time, with
the unions.
What they have the right to do, what they don't have the right to do, and so on and so on. In America, people work.
And that's it?
And that's it.
Zlotkin thinks the shorter work weeks and long vacations are highly overrated.
What about the argument that in France people have more leisure time, more time to enjoy themselves, the art of conversation, the long lunches?
I think it's a nice image. I'm not sure it's true. What is sure is that statistically, since the 35 hours, people are staying longer in front of their TV.
People are spending more time in front of the television.
And also, it's very nice to have more free time. But you must also have the money to be able to take advantage of this free time.
Ironically, some American companies, rather than being scared off by the lavish vacations and limited work weeks, are investing heavily in France. From Microsoft to Motorola, some 3,000 American companies have crossed the Atlantic, providing more than 500,000 French jobs. Americans at home may still be eating freedom fries, but corporate America is buying into France.
They come in France because they know that infrastructure is first rate and that people are working very well in France, especially engineers. We are probably one of the 2 or 3 countries in the world with the best engineers. And so in terms of technology, France is still a country that is taken very seriously by the American executives.
Some of those American executives savor the French approach to work. Catherine Melchior-Ray left behind her job as a senior manager at Nike in the US and came here to work in the French fashion industry. Her job is just as high-powered, but now that she's in France, Catherine no longer works weekends, and vacation has taken on a whole new meaning.
I don't check in, I don't check my email, I don't call on the phone, and no one expects me to.
So when you go on vacation here, you rarely go on vacation.
You really go on vacation.
Even so, France is still one of the world's 5 largest economies. When the French work, their productivity per hour is among the highest in the world, even better than in the US. Problem is, French workers are on the job almost 300 hours less per year than their American counterparts, so French economic growth lags far behind the US.
People understand very well that the French system will not survive long if it's not reformed. People have to work more. For years, people thought that they could work less and earn more.
But they can't.
Which is absurd.
Editor Stéphane Marchand says other countries in Europe are already moving in the other direction, increasing the work week without raising salaries. And France has made some minor reforms in its 35-hour work week, It's a question of economic survival.
The Germans are showing us the way. German companies are saying to their employees, okay, you renounce the 35-hour week, or we take your jobs and we send them to Hungary, Poland, if not China.
So there should be huge political support then to change it?
There is not a huge political support to change it.
Why not?
Because it's seen as a sort of entitlement now.
People see it as their right.
Exactly.
I'm only going to work 35 hours a week and that's it.
Exactly.
So no French politician would even dare to suggest fundamental reform, like trimming that guaranteed 5 weeks of vacation. And American Melchior Ray has been won over. She's talked herself into the idea that the French way of working, rather not working, translates into good economic sense.
People came back, and it was like everyone had 10 shots of espresso. They were just ready to go. They were like ever-ready bunnies. Everyone was going together, and there was a teamwork that was inspiring.
How much vacation time do you take?
I take my 5 weeks. Absolutely.
I bet that feels good.
It feels great. It feels great.
In 2010, workers at a Ford Motors plant in France agreed to give up 6 days of vacation a year when the company threatened to move out of the country. But workers in France were guaranteed at least 5 weeks of paid vacation. On average, they worked 240 hours or 6 weeks less each year than American workers. Well, that's this edition of 60 Minutes on CNBC. I'm Leslie Stahl. Thank you for joining us.